Hey guys, it's Lotus and welcome back to another video. Now, today I want to tell you about a movie that I just watched. It was really good. It's a psychological horror thriller that surprisingly kept me in a constant state of low-level anxiety the whole time I was watching it. I'll tell you about it. It's the plot is predictable, but at the same time, you still get really antsy while watching the main character try to escape the perpetrator. But yeah, so the movie is called Door Lock. It's a South Korean movie that aired in 2018, and it's about an hour and 42 minutes, so it's not too long. It's pretty good, and it takes place all within an apartment complex. Yeah, more or less. So let me just first read you the synopsis. It says, Kyung-min, the main character, lives alone in a studio apartment. One day, she finds evidence that someone broke into her apartment. A murder case takes place at her apartment as well. Now, that doesn't really do us any justice, so I'm going to re-summarize what happens. So, we have Jo Kyung-min. She is the main character. She is a single woman. She works at a bank. I think she's she works at a bank, and she lives alone. She is kind of poor, is not really financially well off, and she doesn't feel safe in her apartment complex. She has a history of constantly changing her electronic door lock password on a regular basis because she has had times in the past where she felt like she was being followed or watched. So she's always changing her door lock password, and she's always she has a record with the police of calling about suspicious people, and so the police don't really trust her that well, which, you know, is not really good, or doesn't really fall in her favor. So it starts off with her just, at home, and she's in bed and she's sleeping, and suddenly a man lies down next to her. He's naked and he curls up next to her and goes to sleep. And she doesn't seem to be aware of his presence. And that's because she doesn't know who this guy is. And she's not aware that he is sleeping in the same bed as her. But yeah, so what happens is that slowly, as she's living at her apartment, she starts to feel a sense of unease, as if someone may be watching her. There was one moment where someone was knocking on her door late at night, and they kept trying to type in the door code, and they kept trying to try the handle of her door, and she freaked out and looked through the little peephole and didn't see anyone. But yeah, she definitely felt like someone was definitely watching her and trying to bring her to her apartment. What she doesn't know is that they've already found a way into her apartment and is hiding inside to watch her while she sleeps and stuff. They haven't attacked her yet, but she definitely does not feel safe, and she wants to move out as soon as possible, but her job doesn't pay really well, and she is struggling to try to find a better place. So yeah, that's just a basic summary. Oh yeah, and then again, like they mentioned in the plot synopsis, there is a murder that ends up taking place in her apartment, and she's a suspect. Of course, she didn't do it, and she's quickly let go from the police, but that means if she didn't kill the person in her apartment, someone else had come into her apartment and killed them. So that's when she's like, oh my god, anyone please help me. This is not okay. I am being stalked by someone. This poor lady has a stalker. Now, I really like this genre. One of the pros of this is that I really like the thriller and psychological horror genre. Definitely right up my alley. So I was definitely intrigued by the general summary. To be honest, the whole reason why I found out about this movie was because I saw on YouTube someone had a thumbnail picture of this guy cuddled up next to her, and the title said something along the lines of "creepy dude sleeps in this girl's bed without her knowing." I was like, what? And so I decided to check out the movie, and sure enough, they are absolutely 100% correct. There is a creepy dude that just sleeps in her bed without her knowing while she's in the same bed. Now, so that's one thing. One big pro for me is that I love this type of genre. And then another pro is that it's really scary without any jump scares, and it's really plausible. There's nothing supernatural about it. There's nothing over the top, unrealistic. The scenario is really plausible. A single woman living by herself, doesn't have a lot of friends or neighbors that she's close with, on edge because she works late at night and has to go home by herself, and she feels like she might be being watched by someone. She has some unsavory encounters with men at work, and so she doesn't really feel safe, and also she's not really financially well off, so she can't just move to a better neighborhood. And then also, even though she reports feeling unsafe, the police don't believe her because she doesn't have any solid proof. And so they think she's like, the boy that cried wolf, that type of situation. And so she can't really rely on the police that well. So yeah, it's scary because stalkers are a real thing. A lot of people have the unfortunate encounter of having one. And you don't know what a stalker can do. Sometimes they just watch you. Sometimes, like this dude, he breaks into her apartment and sleeps next to her and stuff. So like, it's very scary. It's very scary because of how real it can be. I hope none of you have ever had to have the unfortunate encounter of a stalker or being in a situation like this, but always look behind yourself, look over your shoulder, and make sure that you always regularly change your passwords and stuff. Just, carry, I don't know, pepper spray with you when you're walking home late at night. Try not to be alone. Try to stick to like bright lit areas. And yeah, I mean, sometimes you're just unfortunate. You're at the wrong place at the wrong time, but hopefully something like this doesn't happen. I hope it doesn't happen often in real life. I know that it does happen, but it's just really scary to think about. But yeah, so one pro is how scarily real, I guess, the scenario is. And so it makes you kind of think like, oh my gosh, this could actually happen, Yeah, and then of course another pro, which kind of tacks on to my enjoyment of the psychological horror genre, is that throughout the whole movie I had a constant fear and dread of who the bad guy is. Like there were like many potential suspects. The movie did a really good job of making everyone seem suspicious. Every man in her life seems suspicious. Initially they don't show the face of the person, of the stalker, so you can't really tell who it is. Like there's people from work that are kind of sus. There's there's some clients that are kind of handsy. There are people in the building that are kind of secretive, and she doesn't really know the other tenants in the building, so she doesn't know who she can trust either. So they do a really good job of kind of building up who the potential suspects could be. And then also just the fact that the stalker can get so close to her without her knowing is entirely scary in and of itself. Like, okay, so she lives in a one bedroom apartment, right? It's not really big. There's like a kitchen, a bathroom, and one bedroom and like a living room, right? So there aren't that many places he can hide. So where is the stalker hiding when she comes home? He's under her bed. When she's not home, he'll come in and crawl under her bed and wait for her to get home and fall asleep, okay? So this like ties into the whole idea of like the boogeyman under your bed, except that this guy is real and he's a stalker. Yeah. And then, okay, he's under her bed, but how does he manage to come out without her noticing, right? He can't be walking around her apartment and her not waking up. He chloroforms her. After he's sure that she's asleep, he uses like chloroform and knocks her out so she doesn't wake up for the entire night. And then he uses her bathroom. He uses her shower. He uses her toothbrush. He uses her toothbrush to brush his own teeth. Like for him, that's probably like romantic because they're sharing a toothbrush, like it's an indirect kiss, but that's really gross. You know how unsanitary that is to share your toothbrush with other people? Don't do that. That's disgusting. And then, so he uses her toothbrush, he uses her shower, he wipes down the floor after so that she can't tell that the shower's been used, and then he climbs into bed naked next to her, under the covers, and he like hugs her and goes to sleep. That's so scary! And he even sets an alarm on his watch so that he wakes up super early before she wakes up, and then he eats her breakfast, he eats her cereal, drinks her milk, and then gets dressed and goes out for the day. Okay? Like, and she doesn't know this. This has been happening for a while, and she doesn't know this, okay? Can you imagine that happening in real life to you? Someone you don't know breaking into your house just to eat your cereal, use your toothbrush, hug you and cuddle you to sleep, and then leave in the morning before you wake up so that you don't even know it happened? Oh my gosh. Yeah, so yeah, great overall, really great movie. Really great at causing suspense and developing the plot and making us just feel really nervous and scared for her because we don't know how dangerous the suspect is. Has he done it before? Will he do it again? What is his end game? Does he just want to like cuddle with her and not let her know? Or does he plan to let her know that he's there eventually? And will he hurt her, right? I don't want to spoil the movie for you because I think it's a great movie to check out. If you have 2 hours to spare, if you're in the mood for like a kind of thriller movie, I definitely recommend it. And then of course, I'm not gonna get too in depth about it, but the one con I had really was just that the MC, the main character, is a bit irrational in her actions, but that's to be expected. In all horror thriller movies, the main character is not always really level-headed. And you know what? That's fair, especially since if you're in a state of panic and shock and nervousness and you're paranoid, you're not going to think things through or think really clearly. However, there are some things that you should not do if you think that you are in danger. I'll just tell you one of them. I'll tell you two things. Number one is that the first time the stalker had knocked on her door repeatedly and tried to enter her code in, and she was at home, she went to look through the peephole and didn't see anything. And so you're like, okay, right? There's no one. Just drop it. Maybe if you want, you can call the police, but there's no one outside. What does MC do instead? What does Jo Kyung-min do instead? She opens the door to look into the hallway. He could have been crouched down or like to the side, crouched down, and he could have jumped her. Thankfully, that wasn't the case. I'll let you know now. But yeah, don't open the door. Why do characters do that? The door is a barrier to protect you. Don't open the door if you think someone was trying to break into your house. Oh yeah, and then the other thing is that it takes her a long, long time to finally set up a security camera inside her house. You would think that if she suspects someone has broken into her apartment, she would maybe set up some hidden cameras to maybe catch the perpetrator. She doesn't really think to do that until later on in the movie, and so it took her quite a while. And it was only due to the suggestion of a police officer who decided to take her case. So, she doesn't really always act the most rational or reasonable. She's got the spirit, though, she knows that enough is enough and she should probably try to move, but I just wish that she didn't purposely put herself in situations that were really dangerous to her body, like don't open the door. Again, don't open the door, and don't risk your life. If you think a bad guy is somewhere, don't go over there. Just stay out of sight and protect yourself, okay? But yeah, so overall, it was just my short little discussion on the movie Door Lock. Again, it came out in 2018. Definitely recommend it. Definitely check it out. If you want something that's fast-paced, with a deep sense of dread that can make you scared because of how realistic the situation can be, then definitely check out Door Lock. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my little talk about the movie. Let me know if you do decide to watch it, or if you have watched it already, let me know your thoughts. Do mark it as a spoiler in the comments if you're gonna talk about spoilers though, so that no one else gets spoiled if they haven't seen it yet. But yeah, other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye!